Well, welcome back, everybody. We're back under green flag conditions. Thank you all for your patience. And qualifying will resume here in the International GT Open Championship as we now get set here for the Spa and GT Open 500 weekend. It's going to be, I'm sure, a dramatic ending. Currently fastest, Al-Faisal Al-Zubair with a 2:19.401, just over 8.5 tenths ahead of Vincent Abril and Eddie Cheever, who currently sits P3 as well. But all the drama unfolded after a crash where Rolf and Eiken's Oregon team Lamborghini, that's car number 63, would find itself snapping on the outset of Eau Rouge and Rayon, finding itself into the barrier. And what's good to know is that obviously the driver is okay. This is a replay from the crash itself. No concerns with regards to Rolf and Eiken. He did walk away from the incident, but the car itself in question, as you can see, very badly damaged and therefore will not feature in this session. We'll obviously have to await as to whether it makes an appearance tomorrow, but regardless, it will not be partaking here for the rest of qualifying. And we're now watching the cars get themselves into position, looking for ideal track position, because now that we've only got 13 minutes to go until the very end of qualifying, it is now or never, essentially. And obviously you've got to remember they've got to heat up the tyres. The track has had time to cool during the hour or so that we've had off during the course of the break. But nevertheless, qualifying still unrolls. My name is, of course, George Morgan. Back in the commentary box with me again, it is the one, the only Ewan Dunlop. And Ewan, we may have had a little bit of helter-skelter, a bit of a thrill ride through the initial. Great to see that Rolf and Eiken's okay, but we're back with qualifying.
We were looking forward to an interesting weekend. We got an interesting opening 15 minutes of this session. Got to say as well, of course, the car was damaged, so was the barrier. Big credit to all of our marshals here at Spa-Francorchamps. We were anticipating about an hour's worth of delay. They got that back underway, ready for racing in 45 minutes. An absolutely sterling job by every single one of them. And we are racing again, as you've said already. Faisal Al-Zubair on top of standings as right now. They did have a win in Portimao, but they're only doing 3 rounds this year. They did Hockenheim, they did Spa, and they are also doing one other, which is going to be Barcelona. Yeah, Portimao, Spa and Barcelona for the Almanar Racing by Get Speed Mercedes. So they are not championship contenders, but my goodness, when they've been with us, they have been 100% contending. Abril, Vincent second on the timing screens right now. And as you've said, George, the track, in fact, since we left about half an hour ago to an hour ago, the track temperatures have risen because the cloud is clearing, the sun is coming out. We are now up to 21 degrees. First thing this morning, track temperature about 12, and the air temperature, we are getting to the mid-teens, about 14 degrees right now. Again, that's risen 3 or 4 degrees in the last few hours or so. So things are heating up off the track. They've already been hot on the track, and we've got around, well, just over 10 minutes of this qualifying, split into 2, of course, with the incident. This will be effectively, because the track is hotter, and we've got a true clear dry line out. In fact, we're 99% dry pretty much on the track now. These times should come absolutely tumbling down for every driver.
Yeah, certainly do. There's Laurens Lassadure, who's racing for well, the Aston Martin. They have here as well alongside Matthias Lismont. Great to see an Aston Martin back out on track. Usually we would see it via street art Aston Martin, but we are back with yet another one here this time around, and obviously looking forward to seeing what they can achieve here this weekend. And speaking of car manufacturers, we've got some incredible stats here, of course. In history, leading up to this weekend, total wins per manufacturer in the International GT Open. Ferrari, the only ones who have actually broken 100. They've got 103 at this point, coming into this campaign anyway. Porsche with 36, Lamborghini with 29. It's quite the gap in between the top and the bottom. Marcos Seibert goes fastest, though, to the front, so now you'll start to see the times coming in very fast indeed. Of course, now with us coming into the final 10 minutes, Jordan Love now in second, with Al-Faisal Al-Zubair now down to third. Simon Riker pops in as now Carol Bash goes fastest by nearly a whole 1.5 seconds. Now that is rapid from Carol Bash, the Olymp Racing Audi R8 LMS, now to the front ahead of Marcos Seibert. That's a Pro-Am entry faster than a Pro entry.
Yeah, that's absolutely... I'm just looking at the stats. That's absolutely incredible, isn't it? Currently lying 11th in the championship. They did have a podium in the first race of the season, race 1 at Portimao.
Marcelo Hahn with a big spin on the outside of Blanchimont, and fortunately for him, there was no barrier this time around. And I tell you what, that was a scary moment. Managing, though, to right the car the correct way around, but that is certainly not something you want. And the car is currently trailing right now towards the bus stop chicane. He pulls it alongside of the track. Now, that was a really helter-skelter moment. Look at that, the rear just stepping out. Just maybe a little bit of understeer or something like that creeping in. Certainly not oversteer as such, but the rear just escaping him and pirouetting.
That is great control, though. A
well.
Southern 20, then goes into limp mode, just loses the back end, doesn't he? And the lack of grip on the curb isn't going to help either. But something's failed there, because he clearly isn't confident enough to continue with his lap. He's limped onto the grass. Let's get a live picture, hopefully, in a moment.
Yeah, he brought it to a standstill onto the grass, and there is, of course, Alan. Remember, Alan Coder has got to drive the car as well alongside Marcelo Hahn. The car has
red flag.
Stagnant. Once again, we are under red flag conditions to obviously cope with the car. It's just gone off track. We've only just had a red flag removed. We've got another one now. Carol Bash, though, this time is fastest, so will have the advantage. This is great news for him. But one thing that is painful for Carol Bash was that he was actually in the midst of setting a purple lap. Went fastest in the first sector with a 38.539, which is a blistering lap, by the way, because if you look at the cars underneath, Lawrence Lassatua as well as Marcos Seber, they were setting 39.0s. As we now see the marshals pushing the Blau Motorsport Ferrari out of the way.
That's teamwork.
Yeah, right. Absolutely.
Was mentioning Jedlinski and Bash, they did get their podium in the first race of the season, race 1 at Portimao. They've yet to complete a weekend, though. Didn't finish race number 2 at Portimao. Hockenheim, they got a top 10 in race number 1, didn't finish race 2. So they've clearly got quality in the car, just haven't yet score any meaningful points. Drops them to 11th in the championship right now.
Yeah, Marcelo Hahn will now obviously have to look to reset. I'm not sure whether that is an issue that means we're not probably going to see them take any further part in this, but we'll have to wait and see. But certainly a moment they're not going to want to, have again. But Marcelo Hahn was a GT Open Pro-Am 2020 champion and has had many successes in GT through the course of his history. Of course, alongside Alan Coder. Coder himself, South American GT champion in 2013 and Brazilian GT runner-up in 2009 to 2010. There is the Blau Motorsport Ferrari embedded into the pits. They're looking to try and reignite it again, get it back in a way. They put it up onto the jacks just to obviously take a look at it. Those tyres, I imagine, are absolutely scrubbed right now, given the fact that the car spun in the way it did heading through Blanchimont. They're doing the checks as it stands. So let's wait and see what they decide to do. They put it onto the trolley and it'll be wheeled straight into the pits.
It seemed to drive into the pits a little better than it did after that double pirouette. It seemed to be absolutely fine, but yeah, there's so many parts and mechanics to these cars. They need to check absolutely everything. It could be as simple as the tyres.
Yeah, team boss at Blau Motorsport being asked to report to race control immediately. So they're obviously going to review the situation. As it stands, we're still under red flag conditions. The car's now being moved back into their pit boxes as the spectators now watch on, well, just outside their pit boxes anyway, not actually into the buildings, but as we now await to see what happens. We've still got 8 minutes and 30 still to go as we now ride on board with the 54 Mercedes. This, of course, being Dexter Muller behind the wheel of this one, who has been part of the championship now for quite some time. And he'll now make his way into pit lane as well. So, just like magic, we're back into red flag scenario yet again. There is the 51. We did catch Nicola Marinangeli earlier on in the paddock whilst me and you were having a walk around. Obviously, it's his teammate, Vincent Abril, who is now in the car. Remember, was actually fastest for a brief moment in the initial. I must say, he's going to be feeling a little bit perturbed, given the fact that he did go purple in that second sector on that fast run before the red flag was brought out. So he's going to feel a little bit peeved that he wasn't able to complete it and jump higher up the order. But fast is still Carol Bash. And might I add as well, Carol Bash, when the red flag came out, also set the fastest first sector.
Yeah, this doesn't help warming up the tyres though, does it? There was not many have yet put down a really absolutely flying lap. We've been looking at the Blade Motorsport number 16, currently on a 2:27, Marcelo Hahn. Fastest lap time, currently 2:16. So there's 10 seconds difference from front to back. And there's at least half a dozen cars that have not really got going yet beyond 2:30. And with 8 minutes, it's 3 minutes to get round from start to finish just on a non-flying lap, warm those tyres up. So you might get 3 laps in if you get out there quick and give it a go.
Well, it could yet be a pretty much a
Don't
shootout.
you dare say another red flag.
I'm going to say another shootout. That's what I'm going to say.
It's looking that way. It really is.
I mean, it is. I mean, like you so rightly say, I think we are looking at around a 3-minute period where we see the cars make their way around on their opening laps. We've still got cars still to come in to the pits, and I'm just looking on my screen on the track map. I can't see any cars lingering out there at all, so it looks like we are back into business as usual. But the pit lane is going to reopen, though. We are under green flag conditions now, and the fast lane has opened as well, so we could yet see some activity happen as soon as now. So don't go away, folks. We're about to see the cars venture back out, and yes, they are. I can see the little dots on my track map, and there they are right now. All the cars venturing back out onto the Spa circuit. Leading them is the white Ferrari as it now hurtles through, well, leading Giorgio Sinigiotto's car anyway, and his teammate heading through out to the pit lane. Up through Rouge and Radion. Of course, Alessandro Cosi behind the wheel of that, not Sinigiotto at this time. But great to see the cars back out again. Let's try. Third time lucky.
Third time lucky. Just to give a shout out here to Christian Korzinowski in the AM category, car number 5, currently lying 8th overall. And there's only 4 cars in the AM category, and so far he and Stanislav Jezlinski have had 4 third places, or 3 fourth places, sorry, and 1 third, yet to break into the top 2 of those 4-car championship. But great lap of 2:20 by Korzinowski. So a super start to their weekend as things stand, ahead of at least, well, 7 pro cars as well.
Yeah, I want to talk as well about some of the faces that we do have at the forefront here in this championship. We've got quite a few, but there's a few race winners here of this very race in the International GT Open in its history. The most recent one, incidentally, being Leonardo Polcini back in 2022, who would go on to take victory in the Spa Endurance back in that year. And then prior to that, we saw Alfaisal Al-Zubair win alongside Antti Soucek back in 2021 in race 1. And then the year before, Vincent Abril would win this race the year before that in 2020. And Michael Grenier would then win it the year before that in 2019. So bear in mind, Michael Grenier and Alfaisal Al-Zubair are teammates this season in the International GT Open. So if you want Spa specialists, you've got a team that are Spa specialists.
Absolutely, they're looking pretty good right now as well. So we are starting to get some flying laps underway. They've done their 1 lap out of the pits. So get ready to start seeing these timings on the left-hand side of your screen start flicker and move and up and down. This is getting towards the last chance saloon. If you're crossing the line now, you're going to do well. You might get 3 laps in. There's a 2:20, so 4:40. Yeah, you're going to get 3 flying laps in if you want to do so.
Yeah, heading up the crest now as we look to take... Well, these cars will take us through to the final 5 minutes and 30 in the session. So all eyes now on the sectors to see whether Karel Basch can once again reignite that purple lap that he lost after the red flag was brought out. He's not the only one. Vincent Abril will be looking to do exactly the same. Has improved in the first sector already. Bear in mind, he might want another lap just to make sure his tyres are right up to the optimal at this stage. Track temperature has largely launched higher again, 22.6 degrees at this point. So it's starting to get hotter out there, which will help Abril out, as well as the other drivers across the order in this grid. The Ferrari that has tasted success, as I said before, on so many occasions. They've had well over 103 wins coming into this season in the International GT Open, and largely dominating the manufacturer's side of things against very well-known makes such as Porsche, Lamborghini, McLaren, Mercedes-AMG. Truly a remarkable feat off the back of the prancing horse, as now Vincent Abril comes through the Lafanier chicane, now keeping it tight to the inside, can actually make use and take I would say, more of a tiger line than we would have seen earlier on today, given the fact that the wet weather is largely dissipated. We have actually got a dry track as we look outside our commentary box window, and Vincent Abril, looking to make full use of it, goes purple in that middle sector as well. 96 thousandths to the good currently right now. If it stays like this, he goes fastest here in this session with 4 minutes to go. Alphys Lars Hubert, though, prior race winner. Both of these guys are prior race winners, one in a Ferrari, one in a Mercedes. Abril, with a 96 thousandths improvement on the best time set by Karel Bash, makes his way in towards the bus stop. He has got a little bit of traffic to deal with, that largely being the Porsche that lies in front of him, but Abril spinning the tyres, coming out of bus stop now, comes up through towards the line. Will it be a time that takes him to the top? No. Third place, can't dislodge Bash and Pepper. I get the feeling the traffic was just a little too much, but what about Alphys Lars Hubert here?
Incredible. I don't think we'll see Bash or Pepper come out of the pits. They're going to be sitting pretty right now in the top two. The closest somebody's got to them. Oh, is that Admiral's time deleted? He's back down to 9th.
Could well be. Let's keep our eyes peeled, folks. Just
yes, it was turn 17.
Yes, turn 17, meaning that unfortunately it will not count, and he will go back to 9th fastest. Alphys Lars Hubert losing time in the middle sector. He was purple in the first, has now lost the 4 tenths that he had gained. Jordan Love now goes fastest ahead of Karel Bash, so Bash not coming back out, remaining in the pit lane. Lassatua goes into 4th fastest ahead of Lorenzo Flusha, who's debuting for Motor Park here in the International GT Open this weekend. Alphys Lars Hubert trying to dodge traffic. Bergstrom goes into 5th as well. Hubert coming out of the bus stop, not really an optimal line coming out of the bus stop. That's going to really hamper him as he heads up through to the start-finish line. Goes 5th fastest, though. It is still, though, 2 Pro-Am cars at the head of the order, but we still have 2 minutes and 30 to go. Alphys,
that could have been quicker. Went really deep into the final corner at chicane, and a little bit of traffic, so we get 1, potentially 2 more chances. Bash and Pepper are going to stay in the pits. They're confident of their front row. What a time, though, by Jordan Love in the 888, 2:16.383. Only the second man to go sub 2:17.
Hold the phone. Marcos Seibert is on a flying lap, and I tell you what, you never count this man out. They went close in terms of a title pursuit with Diego Menchaca taking it to the final day. He was in that title fight. Marcos Seibert did win a title. He won the European Le Mans Series alongside Alejandro Garcia, and now back again to fight. Purple in the first 2 sectors. Dominic Bauman's moved to 3rd, but Marcos Seibert will ascend to the front, 400ths faster than Jordan Love, and positions the Pro Motor Park car to the head of the order. What a lap from Marcos Seibert.
Absolutely brilliant. It's important to remember, this does not mean pole position. There'll be a second qualifying, and they'll take the average time of the 2 drivers. But what a start for Seibert.
It certainly is. Remember, like you so rightly say, we've still got another qualifying session to come later on, and it'll be Diego Menchaca that takes this car on. And if he can nestle a time that is essentially higher, and if it works out averaging faster than anybody else, they will take pole position heading into tomorrow's race. But this is where they need to make it count. Seibert granting them the fastest time and a great chance, an advantage leading through into the later session. So we'll wait and see what they can deliver. Seibert still pushing. He's lost 51 thousandths in the first sector based on his current best time, but he's still pushing. He's looking for that extra delta.
It's going to be in there somewhere. We know it's such a long 7-kilometre lap there. You've got to be absolutely perfect every single apex, every single turn. You can squeeze things out of Spa if you are absolutely on it for the entire 2 minutes 20. Purple sector for Petrov, 1300ths quicker through the opening sector. This is going to be now the last laps we're going to see. It is a fight to the line. This is exactly what we want to see. Again, not for pole, but it'll put you in the leading position and give your teammates a real boost into the second session of qualifying later on this afternoon. How quick can Petrov go? Coming up towards the second intermediate section. We've been looking at around about 65 seconds for that second lot. He'll come through ever so shortly. Bash and Pepper in the pits. Wonder if they're regretting that decision now, down to 3rd and 5th respectively.
Well, he's lost time, Martin Petrov. Unfortunately, he's plus a whole second in that middle sector. Despite it being the personal improvement, it is not enough to topple Seabear's fastest time, and Seabear also losing time in the middle sector. He's just beyond 0.2 of a second slower than his personal best and fastest lap so far here in this session. The timer has ticked to 0. Checkered flag as Seabear dug deep for an astonishing sector 3. Let's wait and see. Heads up towards the line. Had found a little bit of time in comparison to sector 2, but he's still fastest and in front. We still have Artem Petrov out on track. He does have that green initial sector. Goes 8th fastest, lost a lot of time, recovered some of it in sector 3, but alongside Marzio Moretti, you could bet bottom dollar that Moretti is going to come in later on in qualifying 2 to try and issue his very best to, well, essentially help their charge. But there's Diego Menchaca, absolutely thrilled with that one. His teammate, Marcos Seabear, has granted them the fastest time here in Q1.
Yeah, great session. Got there in the end, didn't we? 2 red flags, 1 for over 45 minutes, but fantastic work for the marshals, and we have completed session number 1 of 2. Seabear on top, but 2 Pro-Ams in the top 3. Super impressive from Love and Bash. Again, Love just joining us for 1 race, we believe, with His Royal Highness Prince Jafar Ibrahim. He'll go in session number 2 for the 888 racing car. Can't wait to see that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's 2 of the pro side of the Pro-Am that obviously put their cars second and third. Great display from them, giving their AM counterparts the best chance possible of being higher up the grid. But celebrations at Team Motor Park for Marcos Seabear, the incredible European Le Mans Series champion, back again. Had a great career in single-seaters, but has pushed onwards and now has really taken the GT3 side by storm, much like Diego Menchaca as well, who also competed in single-seaters back in the day in the Euroformula Championship. They've both competed at that level, and now together this time around. And you can understand that as to why he's so happy. That is a tremendous lap, a 2:16.798. We speak about changeable conditions. They improved, they adapted to the improvements, and now Motor Park stand tall here at Spa. They were so unfortunate to miss out last season. Menchaca thought he had the title won at the very end of the season, and the applause rings out. Menchaca applauds alongside him. It's Marcos Seabear fastest in Q1, ahead of Jordan Love in second place for 888 Racing, as well as Carol Bash, who certainly positioned his car third fastest. Dominic Baumann fourth, Jordan Pepper in fifth, Vincent Abril in sixth, Lorenz Lassatua in seventh, with Artem Petrov in eighth, Faisal Zubair in ninth, Gustav Bergström, the Swede, in 10th place for Car Collection, Eddie Cheever in 11th, Lorenzo Flusha in 12th, Anthony Bartone in 13th place, Luca Ludwig in 14th, Michele Rugolo in 15th place, Christian Korzanowski in 16th, and then we have Antares Au in 17th, Simon Riker in 18th, Rolf van Eycken we lost earlier on today, Valentin Pierberg in 20th spot, Bashar Mardini in 21st, Morten Stromsted 22nd, Libor Milotta in 23rd, Giuseppe Cipriani in 24th, Michael Blanchimon in 25th, Heiko Neumann in 26th, and then we have Kiki Saknana in 27th, Lauren DeMeus in 28th, Alessandro Cosi in 29th, Marcello Han in 30th place after the spin earlier on, Jean-Claude Sada 31st, Dexter Muller in 32nd, Stuart Proctor 33rd, Adrian De Silva in 34th, Hash in 35th, with Andre Borodin in 36th place. So there we have it, folks. We will be back later on for Q2. We'll see you then. Enjoy. Take care. Goodbye.